set. Hello, Commanders. This is Miriam Asip, Commander Mimi, and today we are in the Commanders Q&A live show. Saturday after lunch. That's around the time I'm thinking. And remember, feel free to always send me an email or give me with some people we're going to do some live calls to answer your questions. So this person sent me an email with this. I'm going to title it "No More Yelling Please." Help me listen through the yelling. So basically this is all about how do I stop my partner from yelling. Now, I'm going to read to you the situation that this person sent me. I'm going to try as much as possible for it to be person A, which is the person that sent me the email, and partner B, which is the other person. So try to not fall too much into female male, which sometimes it does matter, but in this case, I'm going to manage it that way. And at the end, I'm going to part this into 5 things that are the most important, that I think this email ended up being about 5 questions. So the situation goes like this. Person A says, I don't want to be talked that way anymore. I want to change this interaction that's been happening often. I know I don't need to take on his emotions, but I'm not strong enough. How do I help myself be calm enough to listen to person B, even when I feel like it's hurting? Now, person A asks to, please, can you speak calmly during the argument? But she says that it backfires. I said she. She says that it backfires. So either the conversation, when this happens, it ends abruptly, or it gets escalated. So that's what she means by it backfires. Now, person B says, well, I don't give a fuck. You have to figure it out. Now, she says that person B is probably very upset about something that person A said. And because she's not responding to the first issue. Person A is just reacting. Apparently this is sideways, which is pretty weird because it should be one way, but I'm gonna twist it just because I did not know. I'm sorry, guys. You've been seeing me sideways. You can now flip your phone and happily arrange it so you're not uncomfortable. There you go. Wait, this is a little weird. There you go. Like that. All right. Thank you for letting me know. Okay, so that's basically the gist of the whole issue. Now, person A she says, well, I can't hear you because you're yelling. I feel like you're speaking to me in a way that's mean or harmful, and that makes me feel stressed out. Can you please speak to me in a more calmly way so I can understand? So I'm reading the notes here. Now, person A says that she wants to try to keep asking him to speak softly, but she says, I guess it should be when we're not during an argument, because it just doesn't work. It seems to not work. Because if I don't do this, the whole subject will be shut down and it'll be as it never happened again. So it seems that they're not bringing up the issues until it happens again, it explodes again, and it's a whole nother issue. So I divided this. I see 5 issues here. So the first one is, how do I stop the yelling? Then, how do I ask to please, can you speak calmly to me? 3 is the perception about it backfiring. Sounds interesting to me, and I want to talk about that. Then, how do I remain calm? That's a big one. That's what she's mainly asking. How do I remain calm? The 5th is, how do I avoid getting the subject shut down? Like I want to fix it, basically. Okay, so let's talk about part 1, which is how do I stop the yelling? Now the answer is you cannot make it stop. You are not in power to tell the other, like you can say, can you please stop? but they have to stop it. That's what I'm trying to say. They have to stop it. So I feel like this person is taking a little bit too much on herself, which is great. Like, I applaud. Okay, good. Like, you're trying to see everything from your perspective. What can I do? That's good. But definitely we have to try different things, not as how do I stay through the yelling. um I don't think that's the answer, because if you want the yelling to stop, then your answer cannot be, I want to stay calm and listen through the yelling, because everything that you do, everything that you practice, that's the type of relationship that you're going to have. If you want a relationship in which that's the dynamics, they yell and you sit and try to listen through it, that's what you're building. So um I'm I'm gonna go on later to explain how to make it better little by little, because it's not like a sudden, okay, you're gonna yell, I block it here. Um, but this is my first answer. Like, you can't stop it, and the answer is not to just stay there. It's pretty hard to do that. So, if you want a relationship in which there's yelling, stay. So instead, I would say keep yourself available. Try to hold on a little bit just to see if there's a good reaction. I'm going to talk a little bit on step 2, but just think about the relationship dynamics that you want and work towards there. That's my main point. Now, how do I ask to speak calmly? Well, you were saying that you would think that it's best to ask for it not during the argument, but that's not true. When you are having a heated discussion, you don't have to stay if it's too heated. Actually, it means that two people are working just with their their animal brains. Their, I call it the impulsive brain, and that doesn't do any of you any good. So it's better to talk whenever you're more calm. So you can definitely speak in the moment, in the heat of the moment. You can perfectly ask, can you please try to calm down and speak better? If the person doesn't want to do it, you have to honor your space. You can't, if it's not working, if the other person doesn't want to do it, there's so much you can do. So if you don't want this to be a place of argument, if you want it to be a place where you find solutions and connection, and if you're not finding that, then it's perfectly fine to, you have to build that culture, but to say, okay, this is not working right now, but I believe in the future when we're more calm, both of us will be able to talk better to find a solution that will work for both of us. No, she says that she tells him, I can't hear you because you're yelling. I feel like you're speaking to me in a way that's mean, harmful, that makes me feel stressed out. Can you speak to me more calmly so I can understand? Okay, so when you say, I feel like you're speaking to me, it's not a personal statement. A very easy way that I tell people how to notice when it's not an I statement, it's to just point out a finger and say, okay, when you do this, I feel, and look at where the finger points. So, uh, I feel like you. It's not a personal. It's not an I statement, and it always will feel like it's a blame, like you're pointing the finger at them. So, how do you change it to a nice statement? Even though person B is yelling, even though the situation is you are yelling at me, when I get yelled, you're getting yelled at, and no matter who, you're not gonna like that probably. So when I get yelled at, it's very hard for me to feel that I'm not under attack. I feel like I'm under attack. It makes it really hard to think at my best and be my best with you. So there's a way that there's different ways to word this. One that I really like is, when this happens, I feel and then how it impacts you. So it's usually when, what, and how it impacts. So when I get yelled at, so what happens is that I feel under attack, and it's very hard for me to feel relaxed and connected with you. And how it impacts. How it impacts you, it's usually better to word it as we're in a team. We both want this. We both want solutions. So that is the impact. I want to feel closer to you. I'm trying to give you what you want. So always allude to this work of cooperation, that we're in this together. So that's the impact. Now, how would it be better? What do you want? If you speak to me kindly, you'll make it so much easier for me. When I personally am dealing with an argument, I always see that something it's either making it harder or easier. So that is a way that I find it better to word it. It'd be so much easier for me to give you what you want, to do this, if you were to just speak to me softly and kindly. I want to do this with you. So that is one way to do it. I want to go on to the third point. That's the perception about it backfiring. Because person A says, every time that I ask, to be talked softly and nicely, either the situation ends and I can't talk about it, or it escalates. So that's backfiring. So I can't ask, please talk to me nicer. That is an interesting perspective, because I wouldn't see it as backfiring if it stops right there, because it needs to stop. You can't, it's so hard to be upset, really upset, especially if you have a highly sensitive amygdala, the part of the brain that gets very excited and angry. If you feel that way, if you want to stop and be calm, that's kind of unreal. So you really have to stop and go away and get distracted and wait for all those hormones to calm down. You have to. You kind of need, like, depending on the level of the issue, but usually people recommend up to 20 minutes of distraction and the right thoughts and movement to be able to come back to that prefrontal cortex and be able to think properly. So I don't think it's backfiring when it stops, when the conversation stops. Now, how do we bring it back to the subject? I'm gonna talk about that at the end of the video. I also wanted to mention before I finish this third point is people that are used to behave a little more aggressively, that they're used to inflict a little bit of exercise control on the other person, either by attitude or like you should do this, or like this aggressive attitude. When the other person says this is not right for me and stands up, they're gonna be like, oh, what do you mean it doesn't work? No, you have to do this, and they become a little bit more aggressive. That's a usual case. So if you're on the other side, I would recommend honor what you want, honor your space, respect yourself. No, that's not what I want. This is what I want. So don't back down, or you're gonna get back to the same cycle. Once you get past that and they know that they can't over oppress you, then the relationship will get better. The dynamics will change. There will be this back and forth, but the relationship will change for the better. It may look a little bad at the beginning, but it'll change to the better. Now, let's go back to the next point. How do I remain calm? Now, it's not human to be able to stand there and be able to take up the yelling. I would say, wow, if someone was able to have someone yelling at you and you stay calm and be like, okay, okay, I can see where you're coming from. I understand. So and be able to do that, that's very admirable. But it's very hard to get there. So because I don't believe this is very easily achievable, I don't I don't recommend that you stay there until it affects you, because the point is that you have to stay calm and push yourself until that moment where you're like, ooh, you know what? I'm about to lose it. I This is not right for me. So now I have to step out because I don't feel calm. If you stay there, you're going to lose your calm. You're going to lose it. And then yeah, the situation is going to escalate, and it's not going to be a helpful conversation. So remember, it is within his power. I was gonna say, especially if they say, I don't give a fuck, and you have to figure it out. So they're basically saying, um, I'm not gonna change this. Well, okay. If you agree to it and you stay, then it's on you, because you're agreeing to that type of dynamics. It is within their power to calm down and behave better. So if they don't want to, then it's on you. You either are going to honor your space and honor what you said, that you don't want that to happen anymore, or you want to stay calm, then you have to remove yourself to a space that is calm until, until both of you can be more calm. So that's the only power that you have. You have the power to remove yourself. You don't have the power to make them calm down. There are some techniques that you can use. There are calming techniques to help the other person respond and remember that you are their teammate. So I'm going to mention two. One is to make eye contact, get close to their face, not in an aggressive manner, but in a soft manner, eye to eye, or even a little lower. Like, hey, this also works with children, by the way. Get to their level and like, hey, I'm here. I'm here to help you. Um, I'm sorry, or let's work through it, or whatever you need to, whatever the situation is, like, hey, I'm here. It's okay. I can see that that upset you. How can we make it better? So that type of closeness and sometimes touch helps so much the person to like snap out. But usually the best thing is to beforehand have this culture and say like, hey, whenever I'm getting like worked up, if you come close to me, I'll try to come back to you. So it's usually better when you talk to it, you talk about it beforehand. But usually that calms anyone when they can see like, hey, nothing's going on, I'm here, I'm good, let's work it out. Now the other one is to ask for a hug. Sometimes when you come close and someone's real upset and you come and give them a hug, it's kind of like you're invading their space. It could be for some people it works, but for some people they just feel like you're invading their space. So instead of invading their space, you can ask, like invite them, like, hey, uh wait, can you just give me a hug? I really need a hug right now. Can you give me a hug? And relax. And just that hug, and that breathing and that touching really helps the person, can help them calm down and make also the hormones and all that. the the mutual regulation can really help bring them down to that place where you can talk. Now, the other part is, if that doesn't work, then you have to know where your limit is. And you can say like, okay, I'm trying my best and this is really affecting me and this is my limit, so I'm going to step out. You could say, I prefer to talk when we're both calm, because usually when I've heard some people and say like, when you can be calm, and again, it's a finger thing, just point it out when you can be calm. And sometimes it is the case that you are calm, the other person, you can see they're really upset, and you're saying like, okay, when you can be calm, we can talk. But again, you're trying to make this thing better and not to you're trying to help them calm down. So by doing that, you're just not helping. even if it is the case. So when we're both calm, I would like to talk when we're both calm. So I'm gonna be in the other room. Please come get me when you want to talk, or I let's just talk about it. This is a good one. After we wake up or after we eat, because usually if you are you didn't sleep or you're hungry, it's not gonna be a good time to talk. And always remember to say I love you. I love you before you step away, because that can be very unsettling for some people. So that is the fifth point. How do I avoid the subject getting shut down altogether? Because the person, if you tell them like, I'd like to talk about it later, not right now, when we're both calm, then you're letting them know to expect the subject to be brought up again. And if they get upset again, then it's the same thing until it can be talked about with enough repetition. It should be maybe a lot of I get upset, but if you keep bringing it up, it's gonna be, there has to be a time where you'll be able to talk about it. Otherwise, it'll just get worse. And you have to keep trying. If you stop trying, it's not gonna work. Now, I really hope this helps you practice the dynamics that you want to have. That's the whole point that I want to make that here. When they get upset, you leave. That's okay. If you feel happy with that, that's what you have to practice. So practice until you find a way that you both can handle these emotions in a way that makes you guys feel okay and proud of yourself. I handled this the way that I wanted to handle it. That's the feeling that I want you to get from this. Let me know if this was helpful. If you have any more questions about it, feel free to email me. I'm gonna put my email, actually you can see it in my about page. My email, I'm gonna put it here as well. Feel free to send me an email with any questions or further questions about this topic. Thank you so much. I hope it was helpful. Bye.